It's the most wonderful time of the year. That's right, it's playoff season here at Frank's retirement home, and we have quite the gift for you. Our first quarterfinals matchup of the week between the Cyberpunk Otters and the Odin Hunters. I'm Zach Vexel, and joining me today is Ruler of Men. How are we doing?
Certainly could be worse. Certainly could be worse as we get on into these quarterfinal games. Nice prompt, 9 o'clock start time.
Bright and early, right?
Bright and early.
Couple bands just flying through, ripping through. These teams want to get it done and over with. We see the Achilles, Chernobog, and the Ganesha over on the side of the Cyberpunk Otters. And over on the opposite end, we do see the Athena, the Maman Brigitte, and the Kronos. The interesting one for me is the Kronos. I'm going to be honest. Yes, we like our mage ADCs on occasion over here in this league, but this hyper scaling can build a little bit of a bursty style god. I just find it interesting all the way. The Mulan gets locked in for the first pick of the Cyberpunk Otters, a very aggressive early style god with a lot of CC in her kit and a lot of potential to swing the team fights.
Yeah, definitely Mulan, just incredibly strong, gets the added benefits by stacking, their weapon expertise through her passive. And the Kronos, circling back to that, is actually a DDM special. Something that we see him run a lot in mid, so not too surprising that it gets, target banned out here.
Kukulkan getting locked in for the Odin's Headhunters, very scalable god. We just saw what that did in our previous set. And the Tsukiyomi ends up getting locked in. This pick, I'm always back and forth with, but at the current time right now in our meta, it just kind of feels like it's something that can struggle severely if you're first phase picking it. And for the longest time, it's felt like one that can struggle if you're first phase picking it because now I'm kind of looking at a lot of different counter matchup things I can do. Well, maybe I'll just go for the Poseidon and the Tsukiyomi lands in and then gets Kraken, or maybe I go for the Hunbots and the Tsukiyomi lands in and then just gets Fear No Evil. Maybe I just go for, quite literally, there's so many options. Odin, and he just gets caged off, and I could just, the list goes on and on, in my opinion.
Kepri, and you just kill somebody and I res them and then we all kill you. There's too many options to counter Tsukiyomi, but this is Twig on Tsukiyomi and we've seen him perform well on it for the last 2 weeks. And then we see the Donza Burrow lock in. Donza again, just we see him either banned or picked. I would say like what 2-3 times a week. Just strong abilities and enough power to really pack in those punches on those autos.
Yeah, not to mention, if you're the Tsukiyomi, what happens if you finish on top of the Donza Burrow and then you just get taunted in and then you just get kind of blown up and then you just die? But they have a Thor. That's cool, right? We don't see that pick ever get picked or banned, or we don't like our semi-global ultimates, anything like that. Nah, not here. Gav is finishing off the picks for the Odin's Headhunters. A very safe pick, and I think it matches well with this Kukulkan. A lot of setup potential for that Spirit of the Nine wins, and the ability to just kind of keep this late game carry alive. Powering through these second phase bans, man, they just rush through bans every time. Agni and the Pele over for the Odin's Headhunters, removing any sort of bursty damage from a mage and bursty damage from a jungle. Over on the side of the Cyberpunk Otters, we're removing this kind of safety Rama pick and then the very aggressive solo lane pick with this Kukulane, the other Cuckoo.
Kukulane, yeah.
Kukulane, yeah.
Nope,
I'm like staring at Kukulkan while saying Kukulane, yeah.
Yeah, Kukulane definitely strong. Just incredibly good pressure. He gets that transform on that first or second wave, and all of a sudden you're at no health thinking, what did I do wrong? As we see one of the safest possible hunters come out, Hachiman, has the mounted archery to get away from any sort of danger unless it's a wall.
I mean, you ban the Rama, you might as well just take Hachiman instead, right? The other safe hunter? Sure, yeah, that seems to be the way that the Odin Senators are doing. I'm interested to see what this solo lane pickup is going to be, unless we do see that Tsukiyomi go towards the solo lane. Mostly because right now I'm not seeing a lot of dive potential for the Otis Headhunters, and I'm really worried for the Tsukiyomi pick in general. Who are you going to be diving on? How are you going to be getting in there? And when you do, what are you going to do here? Emoji is locked in for the Cyberpunk Otters, and we're kind of cycling through these mid laners as we speak. Just kind of mages, yeah. But Yamoja, though, a very kind of safe honestly, just a super strong pick in my opinion. When piloted in the right hands, this god can put in some serious work, and it is the Scylla that ends up finalizing out the draft for the Cyberpunk Otters.
Honestly, that's a really strong draft from the Cyberpunk Otters. I mean, I love Umoja, I love Thor. Mulan's always hit or miss, but I think overall they have a really solid draft.
I definitely
And
think
they
the
have
Odin's
walls.
headhunt. Yeah, and they got walls. I think
Hachi, he's safe against everything that isn't a wall, but they have two of them. Kind of big.
hey, you're just gonna trap him into the River's Rebuke, and then you're gonna seal off the River's Rebuke with a tectonic rift, and then the Hachi's gonna be kind of sad sitting in the middle of this thing and not able to go anywhere. It's gonna be real unfortunate, and hopefully they can play around that. But when I look at the Odin's Headhunters draft, I'm thinking, man, what am I missing here? What's up there? What's their plan? I'm really trying to figure out what they're gonna put into this last spot. Honestly,
this is a tough one.
yeah.
Maybe like a Hercules. I think you kind of lose the early game into the Mulan, but like a lot of CC, a lot of displacement, a lot of ability to just get in there and do things. It's a tough one to round out that draft.
Yeah. Going for a more aggressive style pick will give this Tsukiyomi something to play off of, but there looks like they're going to opt for the Nike. That's something that can definitely get in there, can stay around for quite a duration of time, has that massive slow, that massive health shield. She's going to be quite the threat if she can get into the middle of the Cyberpunk Otters team. But when you're getting walled off with River's Rebuke and you're getting shredded down by a Danzaburo and, you know, you're getting Scylla root into Crush and that I'm a Monster coming out. Gonna be an interesting one for the Odin's Headhunters team comp. I think there's a lot of potential for them to work on taking objectives with this Kukulkan Hachiman combination. Gab and Nike can tank up very easily, and the and the Tsukiyomi can deal a lot himself in the early game. But when I look over at the Cyberpunk Otters team comp, I see a lot of cohesion in just their team fight potential.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they have a clear idea of what they're going to want in those team fights, whereas Odin's Hunters, they're kind of loosely based around each other. Yeah, Suki and Nike are gonna go in, and then we're gonna play it by ear. Just gonna say, it'll work.
It'll work.
I'm excited to see how that plays out when we get towards that, you know, mid-late game. See if they're able to get that cohesion they need in these team fights. Other than that, I mean, erosion stocks through the roof right now.
Erosion of all things.
That item is so bad, but
yeah.
like they're asking for it, you know. Geb, Nike.
Yeah, a lot of just health shields. So good luck, have fun. See if they do end up picking up that erosion. But what I'm looking for, I think, if I'm Odin's Headhunters, is playing through. Oh, yeah, you know what? This is. I'm going to bite my tongue on that one. Looking over at the Cyberpunk Otters draft, I think there's potential for this Thor to really kind of play the sidelines of the map nicely. Whether I'm ganking a Mulan with the early potential right there, giving that pressure to that pick, or going over to my dual lane, which has a Danzaburo Yamoja, we can create pressure on these two sidelines of the map with that semi-global ultimate. And then the Scylla just kind of has to coast into the mid to late game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm excited to hopefully see the story get active. I mean, that's kind of why you pick the semi-globals. You want to be able to, you know, I'm gonna go gank solo, and then 60 seconds later, I'm gonna be dunking down in duo to grab another kill. So I'm hoping that we see some big plays come out from Zaf in this early game.
Yeah, Zaf's gonna really need to. Yeah, you know what? I can see this Thor just kind of rotating around and doing whatever he feels like. So we're gonna find out what exactly happens. We're gonna find out where these people are gonna be rotating in, what lanes that Cyberpunk Otters are going to decide to prioritize, and how the Odin's Headhunters are going to play their compass. We move on into game number 1 here of Cyberpunk Otters versus Odin's Headhunters. It's quarterfinals time here.
Certainly is quarterfinals. You can feel the electricity in the air. Looks like nothing too crazy coming out. A little bit.
I saw Zeus hover too, and could have been a little bit more electricity, but they decided for the Scylla instead. Honestly, I'm here for Zeus juice though.
I'm here for this Scylla. I love the recipe choice. I think Party Punch is incredibly underrated in mid.
You get that bonus ability-based damage, which is going to be really... Oh, well, bonus damage, I should just say. It's not really ability-based, but you get that bonus damage for landing auto attacks, for landing abilities. It's going to be very useful. So seeing her just kind of land a root, crush, and blow up your health bar. Yeah, she's not trying to get more off. She's just trying to make the one count.
Yeah, exactly. Who needs 5 crushes when 2 is going to kill you? You know. Other than that, everything looking pretty standard. Nike opting in for what looks to be a breastplate first item, Lon going with that, you know, glad shield.
I always find the bluestone into tank item a little bit interesting, just because it feels like, okay, you're picking this kind of aggressive style thing, you're looking for more of a clear orientate item, and then you're just going into a defensive item on top of it. Taking a lot of damage over here in the dual lane. They decided to pull all 3 buffs at the same time. Mori Mercury Sim finding himself gonna need to heal up before they go.
Yeah, feeling a little bit worse for wear, and they don't clear significantly faster either. They lose a little bit more health, and they get to lane a little bit slower, honestly. Rory goes for the attempt on a steal, but just not able to get it.
Yeah, there's no real chance right there. The one thing that, the Hachiman mostly in general can do is clear those early camps very nice. He drops the banner, stands inside of it, and then gets that additional attack speed. So that's going to help him out with that early clear when they're pulling those kind of buffs. Other than that, nothing too crazy going on right now. A little bit of poke war, a little bit of clear wars going on, and teams are just kind of, well, existing on one another. I think the most that's happening is right now over in the solo lane, where we're seeing Davo comes just eating a little bit too much from this Nike.
Yeah, certainly not feeling as good as he might want to. And definitely that bluestone coming into effect, giving the Nike a little bit of a better clear here, so going to be struggling at least for a minute.
He's going to need to play it super safe, otherwise this Nike's just going to jump on top of you, just going to be disarming you, knocking you out, pushing you away into her wave, and meanwhile, Zafkiel, though, making a rotation. He's in a very difficult position. Chef Baba might eat some good damage right here. The hammer comes out. Not enough damage to Chef Baba. He's going to walk away not unscathed, but not disappointed. Twig making the rotation on over, though, looking for a counter. Meanwhile, over on the opposite end of the map, the 2 duo lanes are looking to see who can out-secure who on this shield buff, and it's going to go the way of the Cyberpunk Otters.
Well, great damage comes out from Twig, showing us why he keeps picking the Tsukiyomi. Puts Zaf right back into the base, would make him miss out on just a little bit of farm.
I love the Trans Hydra's build on Tsukiyomi because it allows you, you don't get that early game that you were looking for, but once you get that Hydra's online, now you're starting to pack a punch because of just kind of how the Tsukiyomi kit works. So seeing this Mei style, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be the Jotun's Hydra's build we've been seeing most of our junglers going for the season. So having that kind of more early game ability to dump a lot of abilities and see where that goes.
Yeah, I don't mind either build, honestly. I mean, you go Jotuns, you have a little bit better of an early. You go the Trans, you're a little bit weaker in the early, a little bit stronger at late game, but both certainly valid.
Team's kind of just clearing up, making sure that they can get their farm online and seeing where we go from here. It looks like a little bit of a level lead going in the way of the Odin Headhunters over in this dual lane, but it's just, whoever clears that way first, I guess.
Yeah, not going to be seeing too much of a difference yet. Cyberpunk Otters should be just a slight bit ahead on EXP because they did secure that shield camp, so that wave just holds a lot of value right when you're trying to hit level 5.
And now a team's taking over to level 5. It looks like Cyberpunk Otters should hopefully start seeing a little bit of aggression from them, using that Anvil of Dawn aggressively, seeing if they can get some pressure in these side lanes, because otherwise, if this gets up into the mid to late game, it's going to spell danger for them with this Kukulkan Hachiman combination.
Yeah, definitely some high scalers. Even, Tsukiyomi late game is tough to deal with. He just butches like a menace, honestly. I've 4-shot Phoenixes before from outside of range with EFG buff. I think it's funny.
Members in both side lanes for the Cyberpunk Otters finding themselves very low to the onslaughts of the Odin's Headhunters. Just kind of getting the better end of these trades over now. Over in the mid lane, a little contention for those mid camps. Shield buff going the way of the Odin's Headhunters, and nothing too crazy as of yet. Team's kind of just holding on to their ultimates and just not really looking to fight, although Zapkio making the rotation on over here to the dual lane. Seeing that his team members might get caught out a little bit. Goes up into the Anvil of Dawn. Jacob Rosso did use the beads and is not here. Lands down on top of Snips over here on the Hachiman, but he's going to kind of walk away no problem, as does Jolly Green on that Geb.
Yeah, unfortunate Reverse Rebuke, not quite enough to trap either the Hachi or the Geb inside. Going to get them out just fine. Jolly Green actually incredibly low, forced to shell. Zap takes the tower shot. Will it be enough? No. Shell and the healing comes out from Yamoja. No problems getting Zap out.
If I'm Snips right there, I'm waiting out that shell and ulting in.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
you cannot stop me from mounted archery.
No, I want that first blood and I'm getting it now. I'm shutting down this jungler early. I'm allowing my Tsukiyomi to just chill. Because what's this Yamoja gonna do? Come on, let's be honest. She has no mana. Well, no Omi. She's got no shell now.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can really stop that kill. I mean, it would take a miracle for Snips not to be able to grab first blood after that shell.
Nice little rollout and a knock up here, allowing the Odin's Headhunters to secure those mid camps. A little bit of a level disparity here in the mid lane. Just about half a level here. You got half a level over in the jungle in favor of the Odin's Headhunters. But nothing too crazy as of yet. Like you were saying, we're gonna... It is a 1k gold lead though. I will say that. There was a 1k gold lead in favor of the Odin's Headhunters. Barely.
Yeah, definitely starting to climb just a little bit with their neutral farm. Nothing serious yet, but you know, that keeps on. You're looking at 2k before the before the beacon, then a possible gold fight after that. I blanked there. I'm honest with you. I did not think of the beacon.
Yeah, the beacon.
I was like, S something?
Something spawns in twice the amount of time that we're at right now. What's... Tsukiyomi Zapkio making a I'm sorry, not Zapkio. Twig making a rotation on over. Seeing if he could catch out Jacob Prosoap, but Jacob Prosoap secures that buff. I don't even think he really looked in that direction. Just kind of heard that this Danzaburo was on his buff and decided to walk away. Meanwhile, a skirmish over in the green buff, a nice 3v3. And the Spirit of the Nine Winds does come out and connects on top of Dead Dank Memes, who's used that I'm a Monsters very low, and now Zapkio going up into that Anvil of Dawn. So even if he could find somebody, he lands down on top of Twig. Does not get into the ultimate in time. Does now, though, and is targeting Zapkio, looking at going on the engage, and secures first blood for the Odin's Headhunters, but it goes the way of Jolly Green. Geb, kill secured. Incoming the Danzaburo Rocket. Jacob Russo ends up picking up the return kill on top of Twig. Now the members of Cyberpunk Otters are chasing down the two remaining members of the Odin's Headhunters.
Jungle for jungle, not too bad to start off this fight. One goes to the support. They get a little extra gold in the pocket for first blood, but at the end of the day, nobody's too hurt about that one.
Geb gets a little bit of gold in the pocket. That's all.
Yeah, he's a Gavin. Ain't nobody worried about that one.
They will be. Jolly Green gets online with this Geb. They will be worried. I keep seeing that Kukulkan Tornado finish, and I think it's the Anvil of Dawn landing.
I've seen that a couple of times. I was like, Thor's dead. Why am I seeing Anvil of Dawn?
It has been distracting me every time I see the tornado finish.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, Zapkio making sure that they can secure their blue buff for Devo. Devo ends up getting that one, no problem. This Mulan struggles with the mana early. Kind of one of those solo laners who, if you can pressure out the blue buff, she's going to be struggling. I would say her, the Sun Wukongs, the Odins, if you can prevent them from getting any sort of mana, they're not going to be clearing, they're not going to be doing anything, then you just kind of stand in front of them and hold them off of the wave and make them cry.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if you're playing Odin, you kind of deserve that.
Wow.
You deserve to not have any fun. Your job is to just press 4 late game. Just get yourself to late game. I'm sorry for your loss.
I like Odin a lot. I'm always here for the Odin jungle days. I love when it comes in.
The good old 667 days, oh boy.
Nah. I'm talking about the good Odin jungles. I used to watch Ice put up some good numbers on him.
No, that's fair. I just always gotta give that the roast. I mean,
Teams
he
kinda...
didn't even end with 667.
Yeah. No, Odin jungle came back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, we still do see it every now and then, but the Ice one was, what, Season 5? No, Season 4 was the big one that I remember. Was, God. Oh, man, United versus Rival Worlds.
Yeah, that's probably before most of the people watching even played this game.
No! Don't make me feel that way. Not like this.
I'm also a Smite boomer, don't worry.
Oh, not like this. Twig making a rotation on over into the dual lane, seeing if they can catch out Jacob Frost. So, stun unfortunately off the mark from Snips, but the beats do get forced from Twig, and it looks like that Danzaburo is gonna walk away. One less relic, but still holding on to his life.
You can't be too mad you get away with your life. Challenging the
Goes
shield
back
camp, a
in
little bit of a
though,
risky
yeah.
one.
Now he has Rory Mercury Simp here for him, though, eating a ton of damage, and ends up falling to Snips. Dropping that mounted archery, ends up taking him out.
Yeah, you know, you probably shouldn't step up on two people as Danzaburo with no escape. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie.
Gold lead slowly shifting into a 2K in favor of the Oda 10 Hunters, what they're doing right now, but hold that thought. Looks like a little bit of a ultimate trade over in the solo lane. So, back to what we were saying, a little bit of a 2K lead building up towards Odin 10 Hunters. They're doing this very slow, methodical, we're gonna get a lot of neutral farm, we're gonna just kind of pick and choose our fights, and well, pick and choose our not fights, to be honest. They're really not fighting at all.
No, not necessarily fighting, just kind of getting that farm. They see something they like, they finally capitalize on it. Just like this Gold Fury, unattended, it is going to go down nice and quickly.
You recognize that Thor made the rotation over solo. You recognize that the solo back. Emoja's sitting over in the dual lane. What do you have to lose right now for picking this up? A very good call from the Odin's Headhunters, and now we're starting to see things go their way. These mid-game objectives are spawning. There goes the Gold Fury. Next comes the Beacon, a little bit of a grouping, hopefully, from the Odin's Headhunters, and they can just kind of keep things going their way like this.
Yeah, certainly want to get that Beacon, but at the same time, even if they're just able to give it up, they're fine. You know? They're still in a great position, you know, gold-wise, XP-wise, so not the biggest of deals, but it looks like you're going to see a little bit of a support slap fight on it.
We do not give anything up in this house. See, look, it has a health bar.
It has a health bar, so it must die.
It must die. Remove the beacon. Kill it.
Oh, and Cuckoo has arrived. He's just going to take this Emoja down constantly with Tornado.
Yeah, it's just
fair.
like, you got the mid support here doing this for the beacon. You got the solos fighting each other over in the solo lane for the totem. You got the ADCs fighting each other for the shield buff. You got Thor going up in the anvil of Dawn, seeing if he could find a target. Ends up finding the Kukulkan. It does connect, and the Amber Monster comes in over the top, but the beads and Aegis are used from Lunar B. I'm sorry, just the beads are used from Lunar B. Ends up getting her out of there as well. Does not have the Aegis online. It was level 13 and I thought I saw it, but now is backing, gets the second relic.
Gets the second relic.
Burrow getting into the rocket and getting himself on out of there as he notices that Twig's making the rotation on in. Gets
That's the right decision
relic.
if you're playing Danza.
Did not get the second
Does not
relic.
get a second relic, understandable.
Understandable, have a nice day. Chef Baba getting on out of there after a little bit of a grab from this Mulan. Devo just trying to see if they could pressure out, see if Zafkiel and him could get a little pickup. Gets
Yeah,
the
certainly
second
looking for a little bit of something on this on this Nike. Not really able to get it though. She's just so safe with that Sentinel of Zeus.
Yeah, you're looking right now to dive a Nike. If I'm
Under
deciding
tower.
Otters, I think we're making a little bit of a bad decision. I don't want to call it just yet, but let's rethink this one slightly.
What's not a bad decision is Snips knocking down that tier 1 tower, taking away a lot of the safety from Jacob, especially on that immobile Danzaburo.
Yeah, now just hold the wave back and don't allow this Donza. We see the Donza's playing super aggressive right now. We recognize that he has wards. Let's get a little bit of maybe some counter wards up over here. We can hold the wave back, and now we can prevent this Donza Bro from getting any farm. Congrats. Now I'm a scaling Hachi getting into the mid to late game, and you're ADC my opponent who is not allowed to play the game. So that's a win for me.
Yeah, definitely if they play that lane right, Hanzo gets absolutely no farm until Thor makes people back away.
See if that is the case. The Hachimon did end up picking up a sentry ward, so hoping that what I'm saying is correct. A little bit of an ultimate trade going on over here as Tsukiyomi gets up into the ultimate, and there goes the Anvil of Dawn, eyeballing that Tsuki. Seeing if you can find Twig with Zafkiel unable to predict the movements of Twig. Ends up getting out of there, and a little bit of a skirmish as well going on over by the Pyromancer. It seems like the Odin Sentinels are just trying to form a wall to see if they could keep the team of the Cyberpunk Otters, preventing them from peeling for their Thor. But the fight yet continues over around the blue buff of the Odin Headhunters. Recognizing that the Scylla's not here, though. Yeah.
Low health bars, but it's not going to matter. Cyberpunk Otters don't get what they come for. They're just going to go ahead and back off, but they still have all the pressure in the world if they do want to just hang out with that Yamoja healing.
It's because it does this spin thing out of the startup and the end of that tornado that it looks like the Anvil of Dawn. Snips is here though in the mid lane, gonna get the dash away, not gonna get grabbed, gonna sit around with the safety of his team. You got a level 14, there goes the I'm a monster, making sure that the ground is stable in that location.
I think they just used it for move speed and they were like, I'm not gonna waste it, I'm gonna at least try to get some damage off.
Jolly Green in a bad position though, ends up getting hit by the crush. Just outside that River's Rebuke, and it looks like Tsukiyomi decided we're going in. Roy Mercury Sip ends up falling down to Snips, and now the members of Odin's Headhunters are chasing down these low HP bars of the Cyberpunk Otters. Devo might be in a difficult position, not going to be able to get away. Nike jumping on over, finds him, but we're going to back off and get the Pyromancer with our mobile ward.
Snips is so reserved. Every time I see him, I'm like, I'm ulting in there and I'm getting a kill, and he's just like, nah, I'm just gonna play safe. I'm gonna go get the pyro.
I'm here.
Nah, I'm killing Devo. I'm ulting in. I'm getting right up on him.
Jacob also did just use the dash to get in here. Now doesn't realize that he's surrounded by 4 members of the Odin's Headhunters. Gets the knock up good, but not gonna get too much else in the way of damage, it looks like. Jolly Green's just gonna force him out, and the members of Odin's Headhunters are gonna make their way over to the Gold Fury now. Just kind of cleaning objective up after objective.
Yeah, certainly able to. Snips, 2 levels down, but you cannot tell from the amount of damage he's putting out in these fights.
Yeah, not at all. Like, it just feels like this. Not to mention Snips is making these kind of rotations. Anvil of Dawn, hold that thought, lands down on top of Lunar B, gets the kill. And it looks like the Cyberpunk Otters end up securing that Gold Fury. They are saying, all right, we are back in this game, no sweat, no problem. That Piercing Moonlight just hits 4 members. Ricochets all around. Unable to find Zafkiel. It looks like he's going to get away. 1 HP and an absolute dream. Meanwhile, Twig, though, chasing down Jacob Frost Soap, forces the beads out of the Donza Burrow. And then the backline of the Odin's Headhunters is Devo, just being an absolute menace of a warrior brain.
Yeah, definitely good fight from the Cyberpunk Otters. Great target prioritization coming out from Zaf. Says, hey, we have a Scylla and they have a Cuckoo. If I just kill the Cuckoo, we secure this. And bing bang boom, lands on Lunar B, picks up his XP and gold from the kill, and his team picks up the Gold Fury.
Yeah, that gold fight, gold plus the fight, plus the beacon, game is back to complete neutral. It's 500 gold. Yeah, look at that. 500 gold from a 2k deficit. The Odin's Headhunters kind of need to recollect themselves a little bit, but the Cyberpunk Otters, they're saying, yeah, we're here. There's a reason we're here in the quarterfinals matching up against you, so let's see what you got.
Yeah, certainly Cyberpunk Otters definitely do get a nice punch back, get themselves right back into this game. A couple hundred ahead, 300, 400. Perfectly even game as we start to see just a couple of differences come out. We start to see Jelly Green a little bit of a lead. Jacob grabs himself a kill there, incredibly low with the help of Zaf, picks up Snips.
I mean, if Snips is sitting up in my tier 2 tower line, I'd expect the Thor to rotate on in at this point.
Yeah, if he's not rotating in and there's just a guy sitting on my tower, I'm probably gonna start pinging just a little bit. Hey guys, he's over here. Not over there. Over here. Yep.
Oh, no jungle. F6 go next. Guys.
Go next.
Guys. Snip's being a little bit overzealous. Cyberpunk Otters, though, are making their way towards the Fire Giant. It looks like they are going to end up picking that one up. Standing on top of a ward, I don't know if they realize. Very healthy members of the Odin Headhunters making their way on in, but this Fire Giant's already down to 75% health and getting even lower.
Yeah, already at half. I mean, this is a 4v5 if they do go ahead and drop it.
Probably eating about half their HP bar, and there goes the Dunker ult into the River's Rebuke. Onto the three members of the Odin's Headhunters. Aegis comes out from Twig on the Tsukiyomi, but Lunar B is the first one to fall in this team fight to Jacob Russo. Zapio ends up picking one himself with Deadang. Memes ends up finding Snips with I'm a Monster. Now the Anvil of Dawn ends up landing on the backline, finds Twig, and Chef Baba is on the retreat. 5 members strong, 4 for 0, going in the favor of the Cyberpunk Otters during that team fight. Now the Fire Giant's free.
Yeah, great bait comes out. Rory takes a bunch of his health just up there fighting. Gets a great Rivers Rebuke, followed up by Jacob and DDM. Just absolutely pumping damage to it, and they deserve their near deity damage. Great plays from the Otters.
I was very worried, but excited watching Rory Mercury Sim get low to the fight.
I was just sitting there like, if Lunar just presses 4, Odin's Headhunters win. And it just doesn't come out, and I'm like, no, they got a CC chain.
Yeah, it's truly unfortunate. Did end up using both the relics. Everybody losing all their relics other than Snips. Very unfortunate position that the Odin's Headhunters are in now, considering that they had a nice lead over in the early game, just unable to transition that into this mid game. So, still 5k. You're only at 21 minutes into the game. Things are very defendable. It is a basic FG. You're able to move around, defend these tier 2 towers by all means. Absolutely defend these tier 2 towers. And you can even maybe face check this Cold Fury.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to check this. I don't know if they're able to defend tier 2s, honestly. Their team fight just isn't that cohesive. If it was Cyberpunk Otters, I would say defend to tier 1. You have the Emoji ult, you got the wall. Oh yeah, no, I'm full committing for a tier 1.
Here's the thing is, are you really diving into a tier 2 tower as hold that thought, as Spirit of the Nine Winds rips through the members of a Cyberpunk Otters and deleting half the health bar of this Scylla. Piercing Moonlight ends up landing on his Zapkiel, finds himself into the backline, but gets deleted. Dead Memes was ready for that one, said Zapkiel, come on in and we will get you hooked up. Now the members of Odin's Headhunters are gonna walk away from that one. But you think they can't defend a tier 2 tower with a Nike, Kukulkan, Geb?
I mean, maybe they can, but we're looking at a 6k gold lead. I think FG adds on like another 35, 4,000. Looking at a 10k deficit, fighting power. Don't know if I'm necessarily full committing on a tier 2.
I believe. Oni minions push it in all these lanes, and it looks like the Cyberpunk Otters are just going to go and play tower cleanup. They do have a bomb in pocket. Granted, it is on the Thor, who's all the way back by a speed buff right now, but they do have a bomb in pocket. Could use that one. Hopefully not on a tier 1. I don't ever want to see you guys do that.
Unless it's mid. If it's mid, you do that any day of the
then
week.
yes.
Mid tier 1, most important tower in the game.
Yeah. At that point, it's a statement. You just like, okay, we're taking down this tower, and you're got nothing to do about it. But if the mid-tier 1 tower is even up by the time that the first Pyromancer spawns, are you even playing the game correctly?
It depends. It depends, Maybe you've just been winning mid lane for a long time.
Maybe. Beacon going down, going the way of the Cyberpunk Otters, but Titans are going to be released relatively soon. Marching down the mid lane, and it looks like the tier 2 towers are not going to be the eyes of the Cyberpunk Otters.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's certainly not going to risk it too much. Looks like they're going to go for this right tier 2, not going to be able to stop that. Donza hits those so hard with the little extra power he gets from his passive.
Tier 2 tower going down, and now the Cyberpunk Otters are going to rotate on over into mid lane. Those Titans going to be done relatively soon, and hopefully the Odin Headhunters can put up a little bit of a team fight here with their Titan before the Cyberpunk Otters Titan gets on in.
Yeah, would love to see them be able to do a little bit of something. First Rebuke comes out, traps 3, great fight.
Massive massive I'm a monster coming out, just deleting the HP bar of Jolly Green, sending him back to the gray screen. Now Titan gets the guys of the Cyberpunk Otters after leading that tier 2 tower. Cyberpunk Otters are really in the driver's seat at this point.
Yeah, they're in the driver's seat. FG buff is falling off, so not sure if they're really going to be able to push that mid Phoenix, but they grab the support yet again, keep him from taking over to level 15. So he's not getting that upgraded starter quite yet. Gonna give themselves time to grab this Pyromancer. Go ahead, spend some of that gold they just earned, and get on back to that FG.
Maybe if they can make it on up here to this Titan before it ends up dying. They do have a bomb in pocket. Looking towards Middle Phoenix as we see Zaf go up into that Anvil of Dawn, eyeballing the backline of the Odin's Headhunters, seeing if they could get something, but now they're going to be moving on in. Lands on in the front of this Phoenix Siege. Phoenix getting low, and there comes the Spirit of the Nine Winds through the members of the Cyberpunk Otters, and Rory Mercury Simp is the first to fall to Chef Baba, but the Phoenix in the middle lane does go down. Now the Cyberpunk Otters are in full-scale retreat mode, seeing if they can get away with their lives as the 5 members of Odin's Headhunters are in the chase down. Davo forced to use that ultimate, doesn't end up canceling it, tries to get as much off as he can, and now he's going to get absolutely ran down, ends up falling, and there's the piercing moonlight from Twig.
Yeah, they do go ahead lose the bird, but they do pick up the front line of the Cyberpunk Otters, so that should give them at least a decent chance of going ahead and pulling this FG. Unfortunately, Sniff's kind of trailing over there, grabbing some farm in the left lane, going to step them back on and clear.
Sniff's not being over there to make this a very dangerous call. We are seeing it go down relatively decent, and Sniff's now making his way on in, but so is Dead Dang Memes with that I'm a Monster, and Zapkill with that Anvil of Dawn. Zapkill goes up in the air with the Anvil of Dawn. Fire Giant gets dropped, lands onto the backline, but just shy of Lunar Bead. Dead Dank Beams end up finding Twig, and now it looks like Zapkill forced to use the relics, trying to chase down Lunar and see if he can get something, but she's going to get away, no problem. Now surrounded by 4 members of the Odin's Headhunters. Team's going to kind of walk away. Maybe the Fire Giant was a little bit of an ambitious call for the Odin's Headhunters, but maybe not for the Cyberpunk Otters as we see them pick it up, but Dead Dank Beams still lurking in the backline, ends up finding Chef Baba.
Yeah, Dead Dank Beams is just putting out so much damage towards, this later portion of the game. 26 minutes doesn't really feel like the end game, but it's very nearly the end times for the Odin's Headhunters. FG on 5 members, looking to push down these remaining 2 birds, and this is certainly trouble.
So it's basic FG. We can Spirit of the Nine Winds ripping through and just hitting Rory Mercury Sim. But
did it hit him? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, right, back to full HP, no sweat, no problem. Thor doesn't have relics. We can recognize that, right? So do we do something with that? Maybe look to get a little bit of an engage off on him before he can get up into the Anvil of Dawn. Emperor's Armor trying to do as much as he can, but the solo lane Phoenix still ends up falling to this basic FG. Thor just hammers in. He's got to get punished, right?
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't have the beads, and he gets up into the Anvil of Dawn. Lands back into the members of the Odin's Headhunters and is getting away with absolute murder. Twig ends up finally cleaning up that kill on the Zapkill, and Lunar gets away with their life. Twig gets a double kill over onto Dead Dank Memes. Now it looks like Davo ends up getting that ultimate off, seeing if he could get away with his life, but Jacob Frostsoap is kind of in here a little bit and ends up getting the cleanup kill onto Twig. Forced to use the Aegis though, and now he's doing his best to get away as Chef Baba drops the ultimate and seeing if they could get a little bit more. Rory Mercury Simp is
actually has great front line to keep him flowing. Incredible kill. Davo just kind of hanging out. Maybe he DC'd. He's chilling. That's tough. That's tough. I could have seen that fight go way worse if Davo does not disconnect there, is what I'm guessing this pause coming out is for.
We're going to move into a quick intermission. We'll get back with game number 1 of Cyberpunk Otters versus Odin's Headhunters soon. We will see you in a moment. And here we are back in game number 1 of Cyberpunk Otters versus Odin's Headhunters, where Odin's Headhunters are finding themselves a little bit on the back foot. Down almost 12k at this point with 2 Phoenixes and only 28 minutes into the game. A little bit of a difficult position.
Yeah, certainly a difficult position. They do wipe 4 people with the FG, but it cost them 3 of their own along with that second Phoenix, so not going to be able to get too much done in the meantime. And they're going to need to get quite a bit done in this next 2.5 minutes before that EFG spawns.
What's going to be fortunate for the Odin's Headhunters is it's a middle lane Phoenix and the solo lane Phoenix. Granted, it's 2, but soon to be 1. Hopefully, once that middle lane Phoenix respawns, you're going to be able to defend this while you defend the Fire Giant, which is still a minute and a half around the belt of 1 member of the Cyberpunk Otters, but 2.5 minutes out until it respawns. You got plenty of time to get this Phoenix up, get these fire waves pushed down a little bit, see a little bit of a pressure return, but it seems like the Cyberpunk Otters aren't ready to finish their push just yet as they're marching up here in the mid lane.
Yeah, certainly looking to just knock this tower right back. Spirit of the Nine Winds used a little bit early trying to get some zone, and it looks like it will pay off. Going to get Devo to not just walk forward and drop that bomb on the Phoenix, so if it works, it works.
So, is that what that was?
It was a zoning ult, it was a warning shot, you know? You DC'd so we didn't kill you, we'll do it next time. We'll do it next time.
Yeah. This is going to connect, you be careful. One of these times, Cyberpunk Otters pushing up the dual lane after they just kind of knocked down that Gold Fairy, no sweat, no problem. Now eyeballing this dual lane Phoenix. Emperor Armor on this Geb can hopefully put in some work for the Odin's Headhunters. Surely, right? Surely Phoenix 6th man?
Yeah, Phoenix definitely the 6th man, maybe even the 7th man with that Armor pickup, so going to be definitely tough for them to siege into this without that Fire Giant buff on the 2 damage dealers, you know. Danza, and you know, the ADC, you know, still with Polly.
Rory Mercury Sim healing up her Danza Burrow, no problem right now, getting that HP on up, marching on into this middle lane Phoenix, and Anvil of Dawn goes up in the air. So does the I'm a Monster getting ready, ends up not finding anybody, and neither does that Anvil of Dawn, and there comes that Spirit of the Nine Winds, ends up connecting onto Devo, and there goes the Piercing Moonlight as well, connecting other 2 members. We're gonna get on out of there after dropping both of the relics, and the Odin's Headhunters had a successful defense. Let's see if they get something off the back of it, and it looks like Snips is gonna find Devo. Honestly, very successful defense coming out from the Odin's Headhunters. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. Cyberpunk Otters get just a little too quick. If they waited just 1 more wave, they can at least try to trade out that solo lane Phoenix with those fire waves, but not quite able to time that as well as they might like to, and they're going to be down a member while Odin's Headhunters get all of their Phoenixes back going into this EFG.
I'd be pushing straight over there. You got 30 seconds on Devo. Granted, Devo has the teleport ready. Just get over there, apply the pressure, get ward vision up, and maybe even look to see if you can pick it up right away. Force the Cyberpunk Otters into a difficult position, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. You know, taking a little bit too long. You're trying to clear up these waves a little bit and get that pressure down over to the Cyberpunk Otter side of the map. So maybe a little bit of a skirmish we might see.
Yeah, I mean, 14k down, it's still not an even game. Even if they are missing the Mulan, it gets pretty close, but certainly tough to say, no, we need to get aggressive here.
I do feel like that would have been the best chance to do so. You know, with the Mulan dead, you're going to go and pull it on spawn. You're forcing the Cyberpunk Otters into a difficult position. Do we come and contest this? Is it going to get shredded by the time the Mulan comes? If they do, then you drop, you fight, you get picks. Mulan teleports in, congrats, what's she gonna do? And that's, I guess, the thought. Lunar forced to leave on out of there, ends up getting whittled down to about, 25% HP. Not too healthy, though, is this Kukul Khan.
Yeah, not feeling too confident. Gonna have to go ahead and hit that back before, you know, Zaf just hits a gnarly...
Realizes.
And was gone.
Brig eating some poke as well from this Mulan Thor combination. That Fire Giant's already down to about 25% health and getting absolutely shredded. I'm a Monster used to secure it. Cyberpunk Otters end up taking that enhanced Fire Giant right off the map. Now the fight that continues after. It looks like Chef Baba just doing his best to get away on this Nike. Did drop the ultimate. Hammer comes out and it looks like a little bit of a chase down, but should be okay for the time being. Although
David
here
was in
comes
there
the
so
Duns of Burrow.
hard.
No, ends up
Not the wall. Still not out of danger. Twig is the first to fall. Jolly Green is the second. 2 members down on the defending team. And this is going to be very hard to defend. That is 5 members of the EFG.
Going up in the end. Dawn ends up landing onto the back line, finds 2 members of the Odin's Headhunters. Phoenix goes down, and so does Lunar B, but that Spirit of the Nine Winds rips through, not dealing as much damage as they'd hope, and the Cyberpunk Otters are marching into the Titan Room of the Odin's Headhunters. Now 3 members down, only Snips and Chef Baba remaining. Chef Baba dropping that ultimate, and Snips doing his best to apply as much damage as they could, but it looks like that Titan is going down nonetheless. Game number 1 goes the way of the Cyberpunk Otters here in their quarterfinals match.
Yeah, definitely just a good game comes out from the Cyberpunk Otters. They get a little bit behind in that early game. All of a sudden, it gets to the team fight phase of the game, and they have the comp that's just built around it. You know, I really want to see Odin's Headhunters go back to the drawing block with their picks and ban phase and look for maybe just something a little bit more cohesive pushing into game number 2.
Like you just said, a little bit more cohesive. I want to see a little bit more synergy coming out of this draft. It felt like they could have gone this team fight oriented, objective burning draft style, but you kind of trailed away from that with certain picks. I won't dive into it too much, but you build your core around this Geb, Kukulkan, Hachiman combination that you have here. So what can we do with that in order to A, have an early game? You don't want to give that up, obviously, but B, then synergize. Yep, there you go. That was the word. Synergize with this draft for your team fights, for your objective shredding. And it just felt like they were kind of lacking that. But Cyberpunk Otters, they were getting their picks. They were spacing out very nicely. They were just catching people off guard and landing good ultimates. I feel like going into game number 2, really the adaptation just kind of comes down to that. How can we make our draft synergize a little bit better? We will find that out,
definitely.
though. Good. We will find that out, though, in game number 2, picks and bans. But for the time being, we're going to take a quick intermission. We will be back momentarily. See you then. Welcome back to the quarterfinals match of the Cyberpunk Otters versus the Odin's Headhunters. Game number 2. You still have me, Zach Vexel, and joining me still is Ruler of Men. So we talked a little bit at the end of game number 1 of kind of a little bit of lack of synergy in the Odin's Headhunters draft. Moving into this picks and bans for game number 2, I want to see some adaptations. Cyberpunk Otters and Odin's Headhunters kept the same sides, so we'll see if that does end up happening. A lot of the same bans still coming through, so maybe, hopefully, a little bit of a change up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, hopefully, you know, we see a couple of changes. We actually see the Tsukiyomi ban, and that's a little bit surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, I think surprising is the best word I would use to describe it as well. Not one that I saw coming. I expected maybe the Yeb. I thought Jolly Green was doing a pretty good job of just peeling for his team. If you were looking for more of a targeted ban on somebody, he had some good shields, had some good cataclysms, but yeah, it didn't really feel like anything was too overwhelming for either of these two teams. The Mulan gets banned away for the Odin's Headhunters. I guess they don't want to deal with that one, so each team kind of taking something away, but that does leave up this Athena pick. Now we see this 100% pick ban, and over on the opposite end, the Chernobog that we were going to talk about in a second. So, all right, well, we have both global ultimates now. What are we missing? Thor, Ratatasker, right? Are those going to get traded as well?
Certainly could see them, even a Thanatos. I think we've seen him come out a couple of times, but certainly would not be upset to see a Rat pick up here.
Yeah, the Ratatasker should apply a lot of early game pressure, but okay, here. I'll talk about these two picks right now. The Athena and the Chernobog that we have. Since we definitely never talked about them, the emoji getting locked in, though, for the Odin's Headhunters instead of the Cyberpunk Otters. Obviously, they have the Athena. So you're going to be able to rotate out with this Chernobog pick, and Snips was putting up some really good work with that Hachiman alone. I want to kind of see them utilize this, maybe put a little bit of a pressure pick over in the mid lane, maybe a pressure pick over in the solo lane, apply that kind of pressure across the map with this Chernobog, invading blue buffs, invading red buffs, doing stuff like that. So if that Chernobog's using his ultimate to just kind of get back to lane, I just don't feel like it's going to be utilized for what it's good for, because the Athena's probably just going to be going wherever she feels like.
Yeah, definitely Athena just going to be wherever the fighting is taking place, wherever, might be seeing a gank in a second, Pele's looking at ult in, bing bang boom, there's Athena on top of her, giving her an extra taunt to play with.
Just doing a cycle of the junglers like we did a cycle of the mages in the last game. Gotta take a tour around and see what we got, see what's available, see what we're interested in playing. Something I do see that is up still is the Poseidon. And if you combo it with an Awilix, mostly if you combo it with the Athena, I can see a pick-based team comp going for the Cyberpunk Otters, but it's going to be the Thoth, a different kind of a bursty mage mixed in with this combination. Again, Athena ult into, Athena taunt into that ultimate from the Thoth, or the Awilix ultimate into that ultimate from the Thoth. You have the setup, you have the follow-up.
Yeah, interesting to see what else they're going to look to pair this Awilix with. Not seeing too many leaps coming out from the other side, unless, you're going for that real tight timing on the Jamoja Riptide, griefing their own teammate. It's certainly not loose.
Yeah, I suppose so. Kind of able to see it, so we'll see if this Umoja is the target of the Awilix pick. I am interested to see the Awilix get picked first phase. We saw it also in the previous set, so we shall see. I want to see the Awilix get used more for than just being a I'm going to pluck people off of leap spot, but please, people, use Awilix. Use her fully.
Oh, she's just strong in general.
Exactly.
She just hurts, but it's also really funny when tank Awilix with 40% CDR just rips you into the team.
You stop. You stop right now.
You're not ready for the Awilix support,
No, I'm here for it. I'm just not. I don't want to hear that. Anyway.
Oh yeah, sorry. I got breastplate Pridwin. give me a bubble too, so I'm pulling you every 30 seconds.
We got a couple warriors getting banned off here in the second phase. The Surtur, I find kind of interesting, but then the Nike and Kakali removing a safe pick and an aggressive pick. Meanwhile, Odin Centers removing an aggressive pick and the Donza pick. The Donza did do some pretty good work. He was chasing people down with that rocket. He was stunning some people out. He had that kind of safety net. So not too surprised seeing that get removed. They played it very well. Jacob Frost piloted it nicely over in game number 1. So just kind of take that off the table. It combos pretty well too. You don't want to get taunted into taunted. And there's one of our global ultimates. We were looking for that Ratatasker. Now we can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean double global certainly feels good. You have a little bit more cohesion. The Chernobog's able to kind of follow what the rat wants to do. So at least a little bit there. Still, Umoja Cuckoo kind of play the opposite, where they're really just trying to sit in one place, set up damage in one spot. So certainly possible to get team fights done, but certainly not ideal.
If I'm Odin Hunters right now, the thought in my head is we're gonna throw this Chernobog in the solo lane, okay? You hear me? And then we're gonna get another hunter over for the duo lane, alright? And now we're just going to be global ult pressuring with this Ratatasker Chernobog combination across the map.
Yeah, definitely. I just really hope to see them utilize their global ultimates to the fullest in this game.
That's really all I want to see. I want to see the ultimates get used. It felt like, well, I don't want to say it felt like, it feels like we see a lot of times where the Athenas get picked up, the Chernobyls get picked up, the Ratataskers get picked up, and nobody's really utilizing these global ultimates to their fullest extent. The ability to just kind of be anywhere on the map at any point in time is quite the threat to turn the tables of any fight and all of a sudden offset the scales of how many people are there. So, Cyberpunk Otters, though, locking in this Chalk and Izanami pick. Izanami will be able to get a lot of that clear potential over in the dual lane. It doesn't feel like something who can really follow up too hard with the Athena. I mean, you do get the taunt into the silence, which is going to be really nice. But in terms of just base kit follow-up, they're going to be able to at least clear the minions, apply some pressure that way. The Chalk, though, this is a pick that we see come in and out quite a bit, and we've seen it a lot more as of recent with the different items that have been shifting in this season.
Yeah, definitely Chalk lost, a lot of his personality when they changed the Rune Forge, but now, he's starting to get a couple buffs. Items are working out pretty well for him, so I definitely don't mind seeing him after his recent buff.
I was really disappointed with the Runeforged changes. It
I
really
I
hurt a
used to love
lot of
the
my
rune.
stuff.
Mm-hmm. Tsukiyomi used to, perma apply it, Chalk, Guan Yu, and then it's, oh no, you gotta hit a hard C every, or hard CC every 15 seconds to drop a little puddle on the ground.
Yeah, and then if they leave that area, then the effect doesn't matter anymore because oh, okay, well this is nice. Sun Wukong finishing out the picks for the Odin's Headhunters, getting a little bit of safety over in that solo lane in comparative to that Chalk. Gonna be able to time his ultimate with his opponent's ultimate, get up into that somersault cloud, and avoid the majority of the damage and the silence coming out from this Chalk. So it should be an interesting lane matchup over there. I see a lot of just safety, heal up, because if the Sun Wukong goes for that traditional Soul Eater build that we've been seeing, he's going to be healing with his abilities. Meanwhile, Chalk just kind of presses 3, and, well, congrats. Nobody's dying over here.
Yeah, certainly going to be a tough solo lane to kill for either jungle, honestly. Just maybe you can kill a Chalk if you get lucky. A Willick's good luck killing a Sun Wukong. That's gonna be a rare one.
Yeah, the Chalk, you need to, like, land on top of him when he doesn't expect it, and then you got to stun him and CC chain him so that he doesn't get that big knock up silence off and then completely just displaces you, and now you're zoned out because he just throws his hammer over the wall and he's gone. So
Or you land on him and then all of a sudden a Willix comes out of nowhere and just ults you off of Choco and you cry.
yeah, that would
That would make
definitely
me
be
that would
the
make me
sad.
sad.
That
That
would,
would
that would
hurt.
make me very sad. You think you have the advantage in a fight, and then all of a sudden you just get plucked out of it, and completely tables get turned. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, no. Certainly a little bit of the opposite feeling from last game on these drafts. I think that Odin's Headhunters might not be the most cohesive draft, but they certainly have what I would consider a little bit of a stronger team fight than the Otters this game.
I see more options. Absolutely. I see more options in how they can play around these team fights. I see more options in how they can just play the map in general. And you can attribute it to the global ultimates, or you can attribute it to the fact that there's just differences in pressure, and there's different characters who can make the engage, it feels like. It's not so just straightforward in their draft. Like last game, it felt like, okay, cool. You were going to have this Geb, Hachiman, Kukulkan sitting in your backline. Now you have this Chernobog who could be in your backline with your Yamoja and your Kukulkan, but the Yamoja could be throwing her ultimates from a range and completely zoning off team fights. Your Chernobog could be ulting across the map to join up who knows where, whenever, where they decide to feel like it. No, Sun Wukong could be getting in there. A lot of potential there. So we're going to see what happens with that as we move on into game number 2 here in our quarterfinals match of the Cyberpunk Otters versus the Odin's Headhunters. Will the Cyberpunk Otters take it in 2, or are Odin's Headhunters going to have a long night in store for us and take us to 3? We're going to find out very soon. Nothing too crazy as of yet. We do see a blink over in the jungle. Not unexpected. Looks like that Sun Wukong is going to be going for that Soul Eater build, but the Chalk, it looks like, is going to be going for a trans build.
Yeah, it's interesting that like Transcendence is so ingrained into the Chalk playstyle when it used to be, oh, you get the Transcendent, he clears a little bit better, but you scale up that heal. Heals don't scale anymore. Heals are just based off of whatever the ability gives you, so a little bit different. But at the same time, I mean, Transcendence, it's just a strong item. It gives you a ton of power, especially when you're buying mana items like Breastplate of Valor and things like that. So don't hate to see it.
Oh, yeah, you get all that power. It's going to allow you to just match this Sun Wukong and the damage that the Sun Wukong is going to be able to output, because that is the one thing that he does have going for him. The ability to just kind of range poke, throw that cudgel out from a distance, and see what kind of poke he can get before he fully commits. Chalk's going to be able to do that exact same thing with this Bluestone Trans style build. Getting a little bit of poke here, but not too worried. They're going to pop some pots and heal up over here before they get back over into the dual lane. Maybe get a little bit of a steal off those. We see Rory Mercury Simp walking on up, seeing if they could get something, unable to find that purple buff. Gonna get stunned out, need a lot of poke here before they can get into late game, into the dual lane, but they make it in, no problem.
Yeah, certainly loses maybe more health than he wanted to there. You know, the double ranged dual lane certainly able to pelt you with autos as you unfortunately fail to steal that buff there, but that gives Jacob a little bit of an advantage on the farm aspect. You know, Rory doesn't split the entire wave.
It was very interesting play from Zafkiel. See if he could get a little bit of poke off over there. Honestly, I felt like if he had a Carapace Shard, that would have been way different.
I love Carapace Shard is like the most underrated thing in the game.
It's so great, especially when you're playing a god like a Wheelix, because you got to think, when you're setting up for Feather Step, what do you have to do? You have to auto attack. What is the whole point of Carapace Shard? Land an auto attack, remove the protections. Congrats, you did exactly what your setup is doing by just existing and playing your god's kit.
Yeah, definitely. There's some gods that just use it well. Willix, Najah is pretty decent for it, not the greatest. Loki, I think you have to build it on Loki. I think it's part of the law. What do you do as Loki? I auto people in the back.
Oh, Twig getting extremely low here. Dead Dank Memes applying some very nice poke to this already poked out Ratatasker. Gonna force that rat back to base really quickly, but Lunar in a difficult position. Zafkiel unable to secure that pick, and so is Dead Dank Memes. She's gonna get on out of there. Forced to use the beads though.
Yeah, forced to use the beads nice and early, not to be up until about that 5-minute mark, so gives them quite a bit of time to be able to look for a regank before those come up. And, you know, just a little bit of pressure. Lunar doesn't back though, opting to greet it up, grab himself another wave, get a little bit more farm before they end up back to the base.
I suppose if your lane opponent's gonna return to base, even though they poked you out, might as well, right? It's not like the jungle has Blink. They're not gonna get on top of you anytime soon. I'm just gonna secure my farm. I'm gonna get to level 5 before my opponent, and, you know, might as well chill.
Yeah, I mean, Cuckoo definitely has one of those safer clears. It's just, I'm gonna drop a tornado, I'm gonna Zephyr the front creeps, and I'm just gonna go walk under tower while this clears itself.
Shell gets forced over here in the dual lane as Rory Mercury Simp is getting pelted with autos from Snips right now on this Chernobog.
Yeah, certainly taking his poke. I mean, kind of expected as Athena. You're constantly just kind of dashing and looking for that taunt, so the return damage is a good sign from Odin's Headhunters being able to deal with it.
Not going to be too worried, and it doesn't seem like any teams are going to be looking for any invades this time around. Getting a lot of ward vision, though. The Cyberpunk Otters making sure that there's not going to be a Ratatasker rotating on them anytime soon for when they least expect it. Rory Mercury Simp eating some good poke damage yet again. Snips is making sure to land those abilities on top of her, trying to deal as much as they could and maybe get a pick on this first blood over in the dual lane.
Yeah, certainly looking for it. Jacob actually putting some great damage into Jolly Green. Unfortunately, you know, poking a Yemoja, not the most productive thing, you know. Just goes ahead, puts the Mending Waters out for, you know, a quarter of a second, uses a bar of Omi, and then says, oh, I'm full health.
You mean she just doesn't gain instant health and health shield on top of it, and oh, well, Tiger Stun for ultimate. Devo ends up forced to use that one. Chef Pao is still holding on to his. It seems like the Sun Wukong is getting a little bit of the advantage over here in the solo lane in terms of pressure. Nobody's backed yet for any completed items. Should be Chef Baba getting a quicker rotation off to get that soul leader finished before the trains, I would hope.
Yeah, 1500 versus 1900. You should have the gold for it first. GDM getting aggressive, going to go ahead and dash in and use the ult just for style points, I guess.
Yeah, where's my through the Cosmos? Lunar B ends up connecting though with the Spirit of the Nine Winds off the stun from the Ratatasker Acorns, and it secures first blood for the Odin's Headhunters. Honestly, I see that though. I'm like, the Thoth just dashed at your tower line. Good job coming in there. Would I have expended my ultimate instantly? Probably. Did they get the kill? Absolutely, and I'm happy about it. Zafkiel getting a pluck over here on Chef Baba, forced into the Somersault Cloud. That Sun Wukong gets up into the air and hopefully can get away, but his jungle is in the area right now. Blink coming in, and Zafkiel finding himself inside the tower. That's not where you want to be, and Twig picks up another kill over here for this Ratatasker in the solo lane. Devo just trying to get a little aggressive, see if he can get something. Is going to take off way more than he can chew, but he's 1 HP in a dream. Archers finish him off, but he trades for the solo lanes. Chef Baba and Devo, yeah, go back to the gray screen.
Yeah, Twig just in the right place at the right time, making sure he's where he needs to be on this semi-global character. And says, I'll take a kill. I'll take an assist. Devo unfortunately falls to the archers too.
What just happened? We're diving a tower in 5 minutes. Cyberpunk Otters.
But he wanted it.
But he wanted it. No. Valley Green eating some good poke right here from the two members of the Odin's Cyberpunk Otters. There you go. I know which team they are. Odin's Headhunters are grouped up here nicely in mid, but not a lot of health across Lunar B, Jolly Green, and not a lot of mana on Lunar B as well. Couldn't be able to provide too much. Honestly, Cyberpunk Otters could make an aggressive play over here in this duo side jungle, whether they're looking for an invader, even to a Gold Fury. They have some ward vision. Members of this Odin's Hunters are forced to back.
This is the worst feeling.
Unable to get
the
invade.
Yeah, a tough spot.
A walk on out from the River's Rebuke. Double taunt comes through, and that Thothalt is charging, ends up connecting onto Jolly Green. But again, you're getting some poke off onto your Yamoja. Just gonna heal that one back up and apply a little bit of a health shield. No sweat, no problem. Didn't even use a shell.
Why would you use a shell? You're just Yamoja. You get one of those every like 5 seconds.
Right. Why'd you even
And
buy
it-
the item? Should've just gone Bracer.
True.
Silly
True.
goose.
I miss old Bracer.
Sunder.
I miss old Bracer so much.
God.
the Noah you Uno reverse card.
I
breaks me.
don't. Dude, it was so just like, oh, just instant health. Why? Why? Whose idea was that? Just regen, like, yeah. Thank you for getting rid of it. I love this new Bracer because it allows for a lot of a very interesting and aggressive play. Speaking of little plays going on, Chef Baba getting Devo in a very difficult position, forced to use that ultimate yet again. Yeah, the Sun Wukong's applying a little bit of pressure, and Twig is in the area. This time goes up into through the Cosmos. It's the first time I've seen it this game. Looking to see where he wants to land. Lands on in and gets the pickup onto Devo. Ends up falling in. Now takes the solo laner's way because that's what junglers do.
Somebody has to. Gotta go take that tax on your proxy. At least, you know, your friendly
No.
solo laner comes with you too to get it.
No. No.
No.
If he beads that feather step, he was good.
Yep.
Zafkiel and Jacob Rosso picking up one on Snips over in the duo lane. But yeah, I love the Bracer because it allows for very aggressive early game plays. Oh, we're just gonna take Gold Fury at 5 minutes because we can? Sure, why not? You know, Frenzy, same thing. Let's just take an objective. Let's just push down a tower. Let's just do something.
Oh yeah, I used to be a firm believer in just locking, you know, Bracer Fafnir every game. And just taking the objectives like as soon as they spawn. Because what do
Yeah.
you do about that? We just have a Scylla and 2 auto attackers. You can't do anything about it. You can't
Yeah.
out-secure me.
Everybody's buffed up because of Fafnir. Like, well, what are you gonna... Oh, come on, try us.
You can't take this fight. We do 10% more damage because Bracer. And we have Fafnir breath. Like, it's over.
The only other fun play is to do the Fafnir Sunder. Stim your teammates, Sunder Hammer. Watch their
Yeah.
health bar get absolutely shredded.
I just loved the Fafnir right after 9.5 came out. Snip's in a tough spot here.
Yeah, Zaf is
Doesn't
really...
make it into the wall.
Yeah. That Feather Step was able to connect from a range because he already had the auto attack on top of him. Zaf picks up another kill on his Snips over here. I can see where the Cyberpunk Otters are wanting to apply their pressure. Do they go for the invade, though? It doesn't seem likely with the way that they're walking. Kind of moving off towards mid lane. Moving towards the Gold Fury, never mind. Gonna pick this one up. You don't have that ultimate from the Wheelings, but you do have the ultimate from the Izanami to look for the secure, and Warrior Mercury Simp is here. No members of the Odin's Headhunters are nearby in the area outside of Jolly Green. Lunar B making her way on in right now. As the Spirit of the Nine wins, there comes one ultimate, and there comes two. And it looks like the Spirit of the Nine wins is what secures that for the Odin's Headhunters. Lunar B getting that Gold Fury. Through the Cosmos, Rantasker sitting up in the air, ends up finding Zafkiel. The Athena ult comes through, but it's not fast enough. Twig ends up finding Zafkiel, another pick going away. And now it looks like Jacob Frosthope is finding himself in a difficult position because he got caught out by that Chernobog ultimate. 2 kills going the way for the Odin's Headhunters plus the Gold Fury. Make that 3 kills going the way of the Odin's Headhunters plus the Gold Fury as Snips picks up Jacob Frostsoap.
Wasn't this game close a second ago? I can't believe it. All of a sudden, you know, Odin's Headhunters, they get a great steal on the Gold Fury. they get a great fight after, and all of a sudden this game goes from a couple hundred to about 2,500 on this gold lead.
It's just, you make those kind of decisions, you gotta make sure you're zoning properly. You gotta make sure when you are making those aggressive calls that you have that buffer zone through the jungle. Nobody's gonna be getting anywhere near this. I have the objective secure, I have the objective shred potential. We're not gonna be tanking too much, we're not gonna be such low health bars that somebody's gonna come in and be able to just kind of bat their eyes in our direction and knock us to the gray screen. There's so many factors that you need to take into play, and it just felt like the Cyberpunk Otters didn't go down their checklist.
Yeah, unfortunately just weren't quite able to get, DDM over there to secure with that final judgment, instead all the way of Lunar B with a, I would say, very nearly max range Spirit of the Night Winds. Zap's going to lose his life to a real quick 1-2 combo coming out from Twig and Chef Baba, and Devo is the next target, already low.
Double kill.
Yeah, when you get stunned by those acorns, you're taking 15% increased damage. It's 5% per acorn, but 3 acorns to stun, therefore, boom, 15% increased damage. Then you get hit by the 2 from the Ratatoskr. Now I'm shredding the protections. Okay, so you're taking 15% increased damage, and your protections are shredded.
And you're gonna get by a Tiger Stun.
Yeah, and then you get Tiger Stun because while you're doing that. So the CC chain was great. She went to dash away, but that's within Ratatoskr's dash range, which would have slowed her on top of it if it connected and didn't kill. I love that god too much.
I
really
love
do.
Ratatoskr. He's my favorite jungler right now.
Yes.
As a non-shot one trick, Ratatoskr is my favorite jungler.
Speaking of Ratatoskr, through the cosmos, going up into the air, ends up landing down on the minion wave of the Cyberpunk Otters. Looks like the Odin Center is going to be happy to take away this first beacon spawn. Not too well contested. Rory Mercury's just got to watch that one happen.
Yeah, they got 5 people here.
Right?
I'm just a Thoth. Like, if they stop my dash, I just die. So I'm gonna have to give that one up. Not really able to contest, and the Headhunters are able to just continue to generate that lead.
Beacon go down. And teams.
Inferno.
Inferno.
It just kind of went up and down.
Didn't see it. Didn't happen.
You were just getting vision. That was all.
Yeah.
It was like a new wall. I just gotta know where they are.
Giant. Yeah. I guess if you took that so uncontested, you'd be worried that the enemy team was doing something else. But no, they just were unable to show face at all to the beacon.
I hate that those mass camps can't be pulled.
That is the worst.
It's so bad. They go like 5 feet out of the circle, and you're like, oh, okay, you're coming? No. Oh, not in the mood.
Yeah, it's like you're in the middle of fighting them too, and they're just like, bye. I'm going home. You're like, no, come back. You're faster than me. Why are you faster than me?
Why are you faster than me? Why are you healing? Stop it. Stop
God.
it. You already did half my health bar because I'm just a mid laner. Stop.
Look at all the ward division over here in this duo side jungle for the Odin's Headhunters. They're really setting up for this Oni Fury. Not to mention they do have those Oracle Vision already sitting around there. Now it looks like Cyberpunk Otters making their way on over, trying to get some wards down, seeing if they can get a little bit of advancement. Blink comes out from Twig, forcing the beads on the Zapkiel, gets the jump away, but Ratatoskr goes up into the air, and there comes the ultimate from the East Nami to try to silence off a little bit, but the Blink is good, getting her away along with a shell from that Athena, landing on in with the defenders of Olympus. But here comes those Dead Tank Beams, trying to see if they can get some damage off as well. Rivers Rebuke is enough to disengage his team, and we'll expect base. Your team's grouped up here, 4v4 grouping. Let's see what happens with some of these ultimates expended on both sides.
Yeah, 4v4. Not gonna be able to see too much, Nothing really in the way of knockups for this Willix to get any sort of setup. Going to have to rely on her own knockup, as Chalk is still over there in the solo lane. So I think right now, Odin's Headhunters certainly have the priority on this Gold Fury, this Oni Fury. But nobody's looking for it.
Wheelix trying to... Sorry. Izanami, there we go. That was the character that I thought about. 4 members rotating on into this duel lane, seeing if they could catch Snips off guard, unable to find him as he is spacing himself out quite nicely. Teams grouping up and seeing if they could get a little bit of an advantage here for our Gold Fury fight. Maybe some poke, maybe catch somebody off guard, and it looks like a nice dash is going to get on in here. Luna B gets knocked up and gets plucked by the Wheelix, forced to use that beads, but Ratatoskr's up in the air with it through the cosmos. sitting around is going to end up landing in the back line. Ultimate's expended from both the junglers right now. Still, nobody really taking initiative here.
Yeah, everybody's scared to make this first move, not looking to be the one that oversteps. Rory in a little bit of an interesting spot, looking to play some mind games. Twig actually takes the first good bit of damage.
Yeah, if you're Odin's Headhunters right now, you're realizing, okay, if we lose this game, our season's done. Hold that thought, because Dead Tank Beams is kind of dumping his relics to get away from that Spirit of the Nine Winds from the Kukulkan. Meanwhile, teamfight collapsing here in the mid lane. Cyberpunk Otters chasing down this Kukulkan, seeing if they can get a little bit. That tier 1 tower in mid lane isn't very healthy. You could practically breathe on it and knock it down. Now that Devo has made the rotation on in, well, both solo laners have made a rotation on in, but yeah, if you're Odin's Headhunters, you realize, okay, if we lose this game, our season's done. Cyberpunk Otters are like, okay, if we lose this game, this is going to 3. So
if we lose this game, we gotta stay up late.
We gotta stay up late. No early to bed.
No early to bed for sure. Both teams just going to back off here. Say, I mean, there's objectives up, but I don't really want to take that fight. I'm a little bit worried.
I think Zafkil's getting good ultimates off. I feel like the problem that I'm seeing is that there's no real follow-up. Like, people are getting the relics up by the time they get plucked again. I think that's a big thing. Blink over here onto Snips. Dash gets caught, finding himself in a little difficult position, jumping on in, seeing if they can get something. They do just that. Jacob Rosso ends up picking up Snips. Ratatasker sitting up in the air right now through the Cosmos, but the defenders Olympus end up coming through. Now it looks like Twig is in a little bit of danger, facing down 4 members of the Cyberpunk Otters. A second pick going the way of Zafkiel, and now a huge shutdown on that Ratatasker. He was 5-0.
Yeah, big bounty there, extra 75% gold going to be coming from that kill due to that bounty, and that puts them in a great spot to go ahead and pull this Oni Fury. Lunar B getting zoned out by Zaf should give them relatively free clear, as they do have DDM to secure with Final Judgment if needed.
I was not going to say anything because I already watched a Yamoja steal a Fire Giant today, so I was holding my breath before anything happened.
I never rule it out, but DDM on time with the Final Judgment grabs them the Oni Fury, and that should possibly give them pressure to grab not only this beacon, but this Pyromancer. Chef Baba forced already into the Somersault Cloud, going to be a little bit too low to really contest, and this could be a tier 1 mid, you know, a single auto will do that, but it looks like they're just going to settle for the Pyromancer here.
Yeah, Chef Baba doesn't have any magical defense online, really. He's got that 2 Kusari, but it's not enough. Twig going up in the air with the Through the Cosmos, seeing if he can find something over here. Jacob Rosso very low on mana, might get something, but it looks like Twig's just going to back one off. A nice zoning ultimate. Show phase, show that we're here. Zavkiel's low on mana as well. 2 members low on mana for the Cyberpunk Otters. This could be a good one, especially since Jacob Rosso was forced to back. But it appears like the Odin's Headhunters are just going to chill out right now.
Yeah, they're certainly, you know, licking their wounds off of that unfortunate fight over in the left lane. You know, lose a couple picks, you lose the Oni Fury, all of a sudden the game's even.
They do pick up the Pyromancer though, and it's getting down to half health. Both is here, sitting around in the area. Gotta force them to drop that one, dude. Look at the tier 1 towers across the map for the Odin's Headhunters. Could they be any lower? Yeah.
No, they're perfectly healthy. They're practically full health. They're supposed to start off as black, not red, right?
They're black and then they go to orange, yeah.
yeah. They're full health, no problem.
I see nothing wrong with this situation. A little bit of an invade going off as Jacob Frostop's making his way around, getting some farm online, seeing if he can get up to level 20. I think that's what teams are kind of looking at right now, as both teams are showing face at these objectives. Nobody getting real too far out. You know, we're spending a lot of time in these kind of contestations over these objectives, but a pluck in from Zafkiel. He finds Jolly Green, ends up getting picked off. Zafkiel and the Dick Beams both expending their ultimates, but they do pick up that Yamoja. Lunar B now finding himself in a difficult position, forced to use that Spirit of the Nine Winds a little bit defensively and seeing if they can get away, and they do just that. But the tier 1 tower does go down. Now down your Kukulkan ultimate. Looks like that Pyromancer could be free for these Cyberpunk Otters.
Yeah, it should be a relatively free Pyromancer here, and the Cyberpunk Otters will start to develop this lead for themselves. Going to be looking at about 2k, 2,500 after this Pyromancer falls. With, you know, a couple of towers soon to fall, this could easily be a 5k deficit.
Oh, Frenzy gets expended, and so does the HP bar of Dead Dank Memes. Gonna be forced to go back to base. All tier 1 towers are almost dead. There goes the solo lane one now. The one over in the duo lane was so close to falling, but ends up surviving, no problem. Now, oh, dashing into the green buff right now. Jacob Frost, so finding himself. Oh, Twig didn't recognize it. Unfortunately, was still stealth for just a little bit too much longer. But sneaking up behind Snips is Jacob Frost, so. Nope, goes to lane.
just gotta get the farm. No big deal.
It's like when you're watching Tom and Jerry and they're going around the wall. And like not yeah, this is exactly what it's like watching a game in spectator view sometimes.
Oh yeah, the eagle eye is like, how does he not see him? It's
there.
like, oh, he's like an inch out of your visual range.
How do you not see him? He's right there. Can't you hear his feet?
Yeah, definitely a little close for comfort, but not going to be spotted out on the Izanami dash in or the Chernobyl walking up to wave. Now, one thing I do have to say is, I think right now, Zaf is probably the most dangerous member on the Cyberpunk Otters. I think they really need to look to deal with this Willix, whether it be maybe a Magi's shelter on Jolly Green, because we've been seeing him actually get plucked in the last couple of fights, bringing him to the gray screen.
Oh, I'd be plucking that emoji all day. I can almost guarantee that when they picked up this Wheelix pick, it was like, okay, if the emoji ever presses her 3 button, she's dead. It doesn't matter. I am surprised that we didn't see a beads come out from Jolly Green. I'm going to be entirely honest. I didn't think Horrific was the look. But hold that. As we are getting into this Fire Giant pickup, it's going down very nicely right now. Cyberpunk Gato's getting it down to about 60% health, but the members of Odin's Headhunters are nearby. Ratatoskr going up in the air with the Through the Cosmos. And here comes the River's Rebuke. Frenzy is popped over here for the Cyberpunk Gatos, and there comes the Spirit of the 9 Winds as well. Twig ends up finding Dead Dank Memes. No more secure for the Odin's Headhunters, but Zapkill ends up finding Looter B. No secure from either side right now, and the Fire Giant goes down. It goes the way of Cyberpunk Otters, and Twig ends up falling to Zafkiel as well. Chef Baba now in a difficult position, forced to use that bolt and trying to get away as fast as they could, and looks like the support for the Odin's Headhunters are...
Why are you backing? No.
Snips just... Yeah, I definitely, you should have probably kept pushing, but looks like your team's gonna end up falling over here in this solo lane. Sorry. Dash coming out from the Athena is going to get slowed by the Chalk. Feather Step. And it looks like Chef Baba is absolutely 1 HP. Shell comes out from the Cyberpunk Otters, and they're going to walk away from that one. Realize we don't want to step a little bit too far in for Sun Wukong.
I just want to talk about how synced up the Cyberpunk Otters are right now. They are firing on all cylinders. Did you hear the double blink?
No,
it was like perfect double blink. It was like... Willix and Chalk perfectly blinking in at the same time, and I love to see that. They are certainly coordinating and communicating, or they're just on the same wavelength. Every once in a while that happens, when you're just like with a teammate that understands you. Just like, I don't even need to say go in, he's gonna be there.
That's very unfortunate that Snips didn't decide to keep on pushing down that dual lane. I feel like if you're not going to be over for the Fire Giant push, which is, I guess, the whole point of split pushing like that, is you're going to be either rotating on in with that global ultimate, or you're going to keep on pushing on over here and force somebody to back it and respond to you. But if nobody's backing and you just feel like you didn't get really anything off of it, Primal Fury now going down, going the way of the Cyberpunk Otters, picking up that gold lead and just kind of extending it even further, getting up to about 5-6k at this point.
Yeah, 5,500 or so on the board now, and that should be expanding pretty soon. Titans starting to march down this mid lane. Could be looking at a Pyro before they meet in that mid lane. Push that just a little bit more, give them an extra bomb to deal with, and it could get really scary really fast for the Headhunters here. If they're not able to, you know, make a little bit of a fight on this Titan, it could spell disaster for that mid Phoenix.
Yeah, this is the point where the lead shows itself, because you get that first Fire Giant online. Okay, cool. Now we're going to start pushing down these tier 2 towers. Now we're going to be getting some jungle cleanup, get a Gold Fury, get a Pyromancer, so that gold lead starts to extend 5k, 6k, up to 10k, maybe even more. And you're getting members up to level 20, which means we're completing starter items, we're selling our recipe. Frenzy comes out, though, from Cyberpunk Otters as we sitting here with the Titans pushing on in and dash in, and there comes Spirit of the Nine Winds, unable to connect to anybody, but what does connect is that final judgment from Dead Dank Memes onto Lunar B. Ratatasker going up in the air with through the Cosmos, trying to retreat himself back on into the tier 2 and hopefully take out this Titan before it does any serious damage. Beads expended though for those Dead Dank Memes. Wanted to make sure that the air didn't CC him any harder. Now the Odin's Headhunters retreating back towards their Phoenix line and seeing if they could hang on to something. Aegis over here on the snips, but still ends up falling. Jacob Frost still picks up that one. Cyberpunk Otters marching into this middle lane. They don't have any bombs, and this Phoenix is still very healthy, but Zafkiel makes sure that Jolly Green isn't healthy at all, sending him back to the gray screen. Jeff Baba goes up into that somersault cloud, and now Twig falling again over here in that team fight, and so does that Phoenix here in the middle lane. Chef Baba ends up landing, but I don't think that's where you wanted to land at all. Now in a very difficult position, falls to Davo over here. Wow.
Lunar B, the only one standing, uses the Spirit of the Nine Winds, takes down DDM, and they may just barely be able to defend this. 10 seconds before Jolly Green spawns. Will it be enough time? Can Lunar get enough damage off? That is the question. Ult comes out from a Willix that is going to put Lunar back on the gray screen. Jolly again a little bit staggered on the respawn, going to do whatever they can. Snips is here. Will it be enough? Chalk is going crazy on this Titan. Jacob dashes in and it is not going to be enough. Can they stop Davo? And they do!
Titan absolutely 1 HP in a dream, and it looks like the Odin's Headhunters live to fight another day. Now gonna march down this mid lane and hopefully clean up some of these fire waves, apply some of that pressure across, but that Titan is 1 HP. Really, any member from the Cyberpunk Otters could just get on in there. If I'm the Odin's Headhunters, we're getting some vision up. We need a lot of jungle vision right now to make sure nobody's coming in here, because oh my. Yeah, anybody could go in there. I'm pretty sure Roaring Mercury Sip could come on in there, but I'm pretty sure they're going to send somebody in there, send this Athena ult over the top of it, land in there, and just kind of end this game and put it away.
Yeah, you know, 60 seconds from now, Willix will have that beads available. We'll most likely have a Magi's available. A simple blink in, use the ult, get that CC immunity, get the extra mitigations from Athena, and this game could end very anticlimactically.
We need to be very careful as we see them all kind of backing up, hopefully buying wards. We see a couple wards going into the pockets of these members, and yeah, let's get some deeper vision right now. It looks like Rory Mercury Simp is going to just try to see what's going on over here. I don't think this is where you want to be, and honestly, if I'm the Odin's Headhunters, I'd be taking that pick all day.
Yeah, definitely need to get anything they possibly can, but it's just so scary at this point. One wrong move and this 7k lead turns into an infinite gold lead as the Titan falls, so just have to be incredibly careful here. Turtle up, it looks like they're just going to have to give up that Fire Giant. Davo and Jacob just tearing it out while the rest of the team just looks at the funny in the mid lane and
Fire Giant going down, still a basic FG, but when your Titan's at absolutely 1 HP, what are you going to do about it? Davo now marching on in. Here comes the blink from that shock, and the Athena dash. After that, Spirit of the Nine Winds comes through, and Snips ends up finding Dead Dank Memes. Now the Shen Wukong goes up into that somersault club, and this Titan is still sitting down, but it is not enough. The Cyberpunk Otters end up putting this set away and sending the Odin's Headhunters on back in, and they're going to be your first round finalists for the quarterfinals, moving into the semifinals. There we go.
Panic Enders, Panic Enders. No, good plays from the Cyberpunk Otters. They have that ward inside the base. Chalk TPs in, Athena coordinated right on top of them, and they're just not able to stop the two frontliners from knocking down that Titan. Might not be the most exciting end of the game, but they end the game and they keep themselves going forward in this playoffs.
It really felt like the Odin's Headhunters made some good adaptations here for game number 2. They had a very nice, strong lead building, but one or two team fights go wrong, you lose some objectives, and next thing you know, Cyberpunk Otters were in the driver's seat, and once they get a hold of that, they didn't let it go. Whether it be game 1, game 2, the Cyberpunk Otters, as soon as they took that lead, they kind of just took it and ran with it. Very well done from these teams. You know, it felt like I said, good adaptations here for game 2.
Yeah, I mean, The Headhunters certainly have a better start to game number 2, just not quite able to bring the cohesion that the Otters had there. So unfortunately, not going to be seeing them next week. However, great plays. I'd like to see the Otters work on just a little bit of their early game. I mean, if they're able to get off to a start and just keep it rolling, they're unstoppable. So let's see how they look next week.
Well, that is going to do it for us here. There we go. That is going to do it for us here for our very first quarterfinals matchup. Cyberpunk Otters move on to the semifinals, and the Odin's Headhunters, well, they're knocked out. So thank you all for coming out tonight for our Frank's Retirement Home quarterfinals matchup. We'll see you guys next time. I'm Zach Vaxel. Joining me was Ruler of Men, and over on the Spectate was the Wolfie Pup. So we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good night.